Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining us in our seminar today. I'm Ouidad from Harmony House, Kuwait, and I will be the MC for this event. Our program organized by Kuwait Harmony House in association with Bahrain Meditation Center. Before we start, I want to announce that there will be Arabic translation. Anyone would like the translation can join. And we would like to have your question at the end of the lecture. Just write it in the chat box. Our seminar today will be keeping our mind clean. It is really very, very important topic because everybody needs it. We see people these days complaining a lot of confusion. They cannot concentrate. They complain from negative thought and waste thought, and all these things coming from having lots of pressure from the life and lots of responsibility in the work, in the family, in relation. So to keep your mind clean is very important to protect you from the bad situation and will help you to have solution for all the problems in your life and will keep the peace of mind. To have peace of mind, we should have a clean mind also. And one of the things which helped me a lot to keep a clean mind is meditation. I'm practicing meditation now more than 4 years, and really it helped me a lot in keeping a clean mind and peace of mind. And today in our seminar, we will learn a practical way how to keep clean mind and peace of mind. Our guest today is Eric Reste. He's from Canada, and he has been a journalist and producer for news and current affairs programs for Canadian Broadcasting Corporation for more than 35 years. He is based in Montreal and coordinates the Brahma Kumari Center in Canada. Welcome, Eric, and thank you. And we are very happy to be with us. The floor for you. You can start.
Hello. Greetings, each and every one, from the heart, from the mind, from the smile. Loving greetings. So am I being welcome in Kuwait, or are you welcome in Montreal? It goes both ways, right? Normally, as French-speaking person, I speak very fast and I speak a lot. And we're told in our spiritual practice to speak slowly and to speak softly and to speak less. And today I will try to do so because of the affection I have for the translators. And I know it's difficult to translate when we speak very fast, right? So if you think I'm slow and because I'm falling asleep, it's not the case. I'm very awake, but I want to make sure that I don't give a headache to the translators. So thank you so much for inviting me in Kuwait. Such a wonderful, way to be together. Such a simple way to be together. I'm here at home. I've been watching a little bit of tennis today, been studying my spiritual practice. It's a beautiful day and it's good we can spend a few minutes together thinking of a topic which personally is one of my favorite topic. I don't know about you, but everything is in the mind, isn't it? How is your mind? How is everyone's mind? Today is a chance to look at each one's mind. I mean, each one can look at their own mind and really, really think how this is not a mind, but this is a mine, right? Mind is a mine where you get jewels, gold, diamonds. It's a golden mine, a diamond mine. It's a wonderful mine, and it's mine. It's my mind, right? Is anyone else controlling your mind, or are you okay? You are taking care of your mind? Yeah. It's a fascinating topic. And when I came to find out about meditation, it was over 30 years ago, I realized that every aspect of my life was going to be wonderful or terrible on the basis of how much I can put some order and how much I can clean my mind. And when I started to meditate, I realized that my mind was so messy and there was so much junk. I don't know how you can translate that, how much junk there was in my mind. And I realized now I know why my life is not the way I want it to be. It's just crazy in my mind, isn't it? And so we use sometimes the expression, did you lose your mind? It's such an incredible thing that we can lose our minds. What happened if you lost your mind? You lost everything. So this expression, losing your mind, is really such a very clear expression that describes what can happen to us. And today, probably one of the most popular expression is asking people to be mindful. So on one hand, we lost our minds, but now we're told to actually be mindful. You've heard that expression, I'm sure. It's one of very popular meditation called mindfulness. And what actually meditation is trying to accomplish is to fill your mind with, what the mind should be filled with, gold, diamond. So the aim will not to be, mindless, which means with an empty mind. And I'm sure for some of us, sometimes we would prefer to switch off the mind. So we don't hear anything anymore. And we can say, oh, now I'm peaceful because I'm not thinking anymore. But this is not realistic. Anyone has ever tried to stop their mind from thinking? It doesn't work. Mind is thinking all the time. It's like the breath of the soul. If you stop breathing, your body will not be happy. If you stop thinking, your mind will not, be okay either. So it's not about not thinking, but it's about using thoughts in the mind that creates that awareness, that fullness. So one expression we used is that the one who can conquer the mind can conquer the world, which means that if I can regain control over my mind, I can regain control over my world. I may not, of course, change the world, but I would control how I fit in the world. So if I conquer my mind, I conquer my world. And this is the aim of what we call Raj Yoga meditation, a meditation to regain the Raj in me, the sovereign. So for me, when I was 21 years old, before coming to, Brahma Kumaris and learn about meditation, I was reading books. And I remember so clearly today, the book I read at the time was called The Fantastic Faculties of the Mind. It was an incredible, inspiring book. But to me, I was at university and I was very lazy. On top of having a very messy mind, I had a very lazy mind. And my aim was to study less, but succeed more. And I thought, if I can study less, but have better results, that will be good. And what the book told me is, you're not using the faculties of your mind. And you're basically using less than 10% of what your mind can do. And I thought, that's it. If I could use even 60% of the capacity of my mind, imagine, I would do, 10 times, 6 times more. And so I became fascinated by this, what we call the mind. And it's only, I studied a lot of psychology, books on philosophy, but only when I came to this meditation, I finally understood what the mind was. And I never heard such a clear definition of the mind before. And the first thing I think it's important is to understand what we're talking about when we're talking about the mind. I don't know in Arabic or in different languages, I know in French, in Spanish, in English, the words are different. In French, we use the word spirit. There's no such a word as mind. It's the same word as spirit, which get confusing with spiritual. So the mind is a technical word to describe basically an amazing machinery designed to think with the heart. So it's the mechanism of thoughts associated with feelings. And in today's sharing, I'm going to use the mind as the part of us that has the ability to think, but also to feel. And where it gets confusing sometimes is we've made a great distinction between the mind and the heart. And we actually almost put the mind in the brain and the heart in here, in the physical body. And you always say, oh, I love you with all my heart, right? You never say, oh, I love you with all my heart. People would be, no, what are you saying? You love me with your head, not with your heart. So we made it some kind of two separate organs, thinking from the head or thinking from the heart. But actually the mind is this organ of the self that has the ability to think, but also to feel. And we make a distinction with the intellect. And the intellect is another organ which we associated with being intellectual, when actually the intellect has many faculties, very different from the mind. And we will not say, for example, that the mind understands. We say the mind thinks and feels. But the intellect is the organ of the self that can understand, that can discriminate, that can judge, that can concentrate, that can feel the insight called the intuition. The intellect has the will to decide and judge and put it into action. The intellect can concentrate. So the intellect is actually much more what we understand to be almost the brain. And the mind is almost more into the heart with thinking power. So it's why I like to call the mind a machinery of thoughts with a heart. I don't know if it makes sense to you. And then there are another part of the self, which we won't talk about much today, but it's more like our personality, the traits of our personality. And why I'm sharing this is because it's very important to know where are the thoughts coming from. Because the mind will be creating thoughts, but those thoughts come from different sources. And so the mind with the feelings can think for itself. If I feel, scared because there's a big noise and I feel, oh, I'm scared, then my feeling creates thoughts. What happens? Oh, maybe somebody came in the room. Oh, maybe something happened to my children. So thoughts come from the feelings. But then the intellect intervenes. And the intellect has understanding, has knowledge, has memory, has discernment, concentration, judgment. So the intellect will respond and say, no, don't worry. It might be just someone outside, made a noise, nothing to worry about. So the mind and intellect are having chit-chat. They're having discussion. The mind has its own thinking, but the intellect has its own thinking. But then my personality also influences my mind. So if I have the habit, the tendency, the personality trait to worry, even if my intellect says to my mind, don't worry, my personality wants me to worry because that's my personality. So it's the mechanism is fascinating. And of course, it is what we call semantic. It's, the way we define it today is one way, maybe Carl Jung or Freud or other philosophers, psychologists will define it differently. So them putting together our definition here so we know what we're talking about in the next few minutes. And so when we're going to be looking at having a clean mind, we'll realize, whoa, I have to clean thoughts that are coming from everywhere, from my own feelings, from my intellect, my understanding, from my personality. And then thoughts come from outside. The people are telling me something, it comes in my mind. I'm listening to a song, it stays in my mind, I'm singing the song. I hear the words and I'm repeating the words. Sometimes, and now we're going into other layers, somebody's thinking of me. Do you know that maybe if someone is thinking of you here in Montreal, you may have a thought about Montreal. So, I want to go to Montreal. You don't know where this thought comes from. But maybe someone in Montreal is thinking of you. And suddenly you feel, oh, I want to come to Montreal. I'm joking a little bit, because now you should all feel like you want to come to Montreal. I'm thinking of you. So are you all having that thought? Yeah, let's go to Montreal. Yeah, I'm using powerful thoughts. Be careful. I'm going to bring you to Montreal. I'm sharing all this very honestly, not because I can pretend to have a better mind than anyone else, but I've been trying hard for many years to, sort out my mind, clean up my mind, control my mind, inspire my mind. It's a field of thinking and reflection that I find so fascinating. And really, we could talk about it for hours and hours and hours. So the question for you would be, how is your mind? Have you ever had a mind checkup? You go to your doctor and he can check up your body, but do you know who can check your mind? Do you have any reports to tell you the state of your mind? The trick is that no one has access to your mind but you. You can tell a little bit to other people what's on your mind. In English, that's the expression. What's on your mind? Tell me what's on your mind. Then they will say, tell me what's in your heart. You can share a little bit. But how would you describe the state of your mind? Is your mind clean? Is your mind strong? Is your mind powerful? If I was to visit your house right now, imagine I come out of your computer and I say, oh, I want to inspect your house. Some people will quickly say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't clean it yet. And they will feel embarrassed because there's a little bit of, mess around. I work in television business. And every time we tell people, we're coming to your place and we're going to film, most people's reaction is, oh, I have to clean everything. Television is coming. And they panic. I said, no. Can we film outside or can we film somewhere else? Because they know they have to clean for 3 days before the camera comes. And usually we tell them, please don't clean anything. We like to see your mess as it is. Oops, sorry. We like to see your, we like to see your mess as it is. So don't clean anything. And so they are very conscious of how the place is looking. Like now I'm talking to you, I put some flowers here. I check about the light, the plant. But maybe you don't know, and behind this wall, all my clothes are in a big mess. I left all the cooking and the kitchen is a big, you don't know. I'm just showing you a little frame of my apartment, but I'm not showing you my kitchen. Maybe there's a big pile of dishes in my sink. So how is our mind? Only we know. No one else can tell us if our mind is clean or not. And so, what will be a clean mind? There's mind which we call clean, which becomes clear mind. If you clean the water, it becomes clear, it becomes pure. If it becomes clear mind, it becomes cool mind. Everything which is clean becomes clear. And when something is clear, what do you do when you finish cleaning your apartment or your house or your studio, wherever you live, or your car? You sit and say, oh, now it's nice, right? Sometimes people say, oh, I don't need to clean, it's already clean. And we tell that person, try something, still clean it, and tell me how you feel afterwards. And you think it is clean, but if you start cleaning again, afterwards you say, actually, it was not clean. Now it is much better. And when you're in a very clean place, what do you feel? Nice, I like it, it's nice, isn't it? And you feel more, it's peaceful. If your apartment or your place is very messy, it gives you a headache. Oh, gee, I have to do this. I have to clean. Oh, where is everything? I can't find anything. So clean becomes clear, becomes cool, and only then can it become powerful. Then we can fill the mind with the mine of the self, which will bring us jewels, diamonds, gold, energy. They say that, I don't know if it's true, I never drink milk from a lioness, but I've been told many times that the milk of a lioness can only remain in a pure golden vessel. And they say if you put the milk of a lioness in a container which is dirty, it's going to turn, it's not going to remain okay. And we say if the mind is not clean, it will not hold truth. It will not hold love. It will not hold power, energy. So this is why it's so important to maintain a clean mind. And to do so, I think like many yogis, what they do, every day they have to take a shower, not just physically, but mentally. Any one of you never take shower physically? Oh, you don't like it? No, I don't shower. It's okay. I'm okay. Any one of you haven't taken shower for 3 months? I hope not. I think I'm going to smell it even in Montreal. If we don't clean the body, of course, we don't like it. Yeah, some take 2 showers a day. Twice a day is much better. Feel better, isn't it? After working hard, after playing sport, you want to clean the body. So how do we clean the mind? How often do we clean the mind? It's a very beautiful analogy and such a very fascinating idea that I'm the only one who can clean my mind. But I will only clean my mind when I'm motivated, knowing how I will feel when my mind is clean. So again, as I mentioned, it's a very deep topic that can go on for a long, long time. So I'm just going to share a few thoughts, that I've been exploring a lot. And for example, the way I see it in my mind is that I identify different category or different type of unclean ingredients. And we can think or talk about thoughts, but we can also talk equally about feelings because they are both in the mind. So for example, to me in life and in my place, there are different things that can happen. And the first thing that comes in is dust, right? Particularly when you keep your window open, dust comes in. And if you put your finger on the furniture, you say, oh, there's dust. But then there's what we call dirt. It's different. So it can be dusty or it can be dirty. There's dirt. It's a different type of invasion that comes. And then the third one, which is the worst, will be coming in a form of something more like we call microbes. Microbes are those living microscopic entities that can be bacteria or virus. Both are microbes, right? So the mind can also have dust, dirt, or microbes. Do you like your mind with dust, dirt, and microbes? It's starting to get a little scary, isn't it? But what really is unclean in the mind is actually the presence of those 3 different types of, we can call them thoughts, feelings. So what are they? It's different: dust, dirt, and microbes, or viruses and bacteria. So dust is actually what we call usually waste thoughts, unnecessary thoughts. And we can talk about those waste thoughts a lot because we can waste a lot of time talking about it as well. But we can talk about waste thoughts for a long time. But just in short, my personal waste thought detector, right? Because you have smoke detector to prevent fire, but you need to have a waste thought detector in your mind to give you a warning when there is dust, because it's like smoke. It clouds the mind. It fills the mind with unnecessary thoughts. They're not bad thoughts. They're not terrible thoughts, but they're unnecessary waste thoughts. And they become like dust. They make everything a little bit unclean, dusty. And the sign of those unnecessary thoughts are usually the question marks. Why did this happen? Why did you come so late? Why you didn't tell me this? All these whys, when, and then it's the why, which is a question mark, and the should not, would not, will not, all these negative affirmation. It should not be like this. It should not have happened. They're not very negative because sometimes people would say, but they're real, they're right. And you would say, yeah, you're right. It should not have happened. But to create a thought will actually leave dust on your mind. Because there are other thoughts that can replace those thoughts that are much more useful and not wasteful. So dust is actually wasteful thoughts, unnecessary thoughts. And we tend to replace them with knowledgeable thoughts, knowledgeful thoughts, thoughts that come with meaning. Instead of saying it shouldn't be that way, there's always another thought, which is, it is happening, it's okay. Now, what should I be doing about it? That's what the mind should create. Not just pointing the finger, but creating a thought that will respond intelligently or meaningfully, wisely to the situation. And so these thoughts that are wasteful have an impact on the feeling of the mind, and it creates weakness in the mind. A mind that has a lot of waste thoughts is kind of neutral in its feeling. It's not negative necessarily, but it becomes weak. And it's like the immune system becoming vulnerable. If I have dust on the mind, in the mind, it makes my feelings a little bit kind of dusty, a little bit uncertain. And then those feelings become weak, which means vulnerable. Then I will easily be able to become upset, negative, and that's what we will see later with microbes and all these dirt. So first layer is just the dust. Unnecessary, wasteful, weakens the feelings. And then the method to clean it, to remove the dust remover, if you have your waste thought detector, is to quickly use knowledge, good information, wisdom, learning. I know it shouldn't be like this. I know this should not have happened. but what did I learn? So I can have a positive thought, that I can have a useful thought, not a useless, but a useful thought. So again, it's just opening the door for a big topic, which is fascinating. But then the second layer that, removes the cleanliness of the mind is the dirt. So dirt is different. And we will call it usually, and I know it's a loaded word, but we call it usually impure thoughts. And the analogy is water should be pure. But if you add soil in it, it becomes mud. And you don't want to drink mud. So pure thoughts that are mixed with thoughts that are a low quality that we call impure become mixed, then that becomes impure thought. And they're much more damaging than waste thoughts. So impurity will be love that has been corrupt. I love someone, but I'm very attached to the person, which means that if the person is not behaving as I like, because my attachment, I become upset. And then what I feel is I'm very discontented. And I say, I love you, but I don't like what you just did. And at that moment, I know I love the person normally, but at that moment, actually, I don't like that person. I'm upset. And it could be your child, could be your husband, your wife, your parents. We love them. But today, at this moment, they really make me annoyed. Why? Because I've allowed that feeling, which is very impure, which is a mixed love, enter the heart, enter the mind. And I'm using thoughts that are becoming impure, not just waste. It's not just unnecessary thought, but they become impure. They come from impurity, which means something mixed in it. Instead of being more spiritual with other people, which would be the normal way of communicating, we're all one family, isn't it? Every religion told us this is one big family. We're all one in this planet Earth. We should just see everyone as, this is my family, my world family. But I will mix something into it. I will mix the thought, yes, but you are not of the same religion as I am. You are not of the same nationality. And people and the, government of your country is doing something I don't like. So we're mixing up things. Color of the skin, religion, sexual orientation. Our vision becomes impure in the sense, not clean. That's why we say we need a clean mind. It's not clean, it's been impure. So mixing, ideas, feelings, then we call it impure. We can call it corrupt. Something that has been mixed becomes corrupt. It's not working properly anymore. And these negative thoughts, impure thoughts, will really not only create vulnerability in the feelings. It's not that my immune system is weak. Now I'm getting contaminated. And usually those feelings associated with impure thoughts are, vicious feelings, means feelings that are filled with anger, jealousy, very negative feelings, deep impatience. It could become mean. It could mean, I don't know how do you translate, to be mean means opposite of being kind. And people say, oh, you're so mean. We don't want to be mean. Where does it come from? The mind has created very corrupt thoughts, mixed thoughts. It's not just dusty anymore, but it has become muddy. Something muddy is really dirty. It's different. I hope you're not getting depressed, right? I'll give you a solution to all of this. So I'm just describing my own mind for so many years. And the process of cleaning, of course, hopefully we'll get to it. So the mud, the dirt, and again, this is a 1 hour topic on its own. Now, the worst one, to really give you the last strike, the last one is those microbes. Dust is visible, dirt, very visible, microbes, invisible. Very, how to call them, there's a French word for that, very kind of insidious. Why now do we clean everything so badly because of coronavirus? At the beginning, we thought it could be on a door handle. Have you seen people cleaning everything in the buses, in the hospital, in business, in shops? You clean everything, you touch the machine to pay, you have to clean it afterwards. Why? Microbes. When there was, even before the virus, just the bacteria. They are very contagious and they go in every place, but they are not visible. So these become very negative thoughts, very powerful thoughts, but they're very unconscious. They're so strong, we don't realize that they are fueling, they are burning the self. So sometimes those thoughts, and they will multiply. That's the problem with bacteria and viruses, right? They enter and they're microscopic, but they multiply and they invade and they kill the organs. Are you scared? So thoughts and feelings that are like microbes are invisible. They come from our unconscious mind, but they're the worst ones. And they come in the form of convictions. I'm convinced that you don't like me. Do you have a proof? I know what you think. People say that sometimes. I know what you think. Oh, really? And are you sure you know exactly what I'm thinking? So we become possessed with falsehoods sometimes, but it's unconscious. And it becomes so strong that we're willing to even hit someone physically because of that conviction. Or we're willing to do crazy things because of that conviction. Divorce, break relationships, hit someone, engage into very aggressive behavior. Where does that come from? It's not just a negative thought. It's not just dirt or dust. It's a virus, deadly. It ruins my life. It creates such a mess in my mind that there's no hope. There's only burning, element. Relationships are broken. Hope is lost. No courage. And it feels like, the person is not just losing their mind, but breaking their heart and seeing no solution, no escape. So this is when the mind has been infested with a very deep and serious invisible microbe, unconscious thoughts that are very destructive, and they are anchored, they are rooted in very old and long-term patterns of belief system. Very insidious, very, very insidious. Now, where do you get your clean unit, or how do you call 911 or whatever emergency number in your country to have a cleaning unit to remove these bacteria, microbes, mud? The dust, I told you, we use knowledge. The impurity, the corruption, we use what we call yoga. Yoga is this ability to deeply go into the self and experience very sweet silence, very deep, deep silence, deep feelings of love, feeling of peace. So we experience the knowledge in a deep way, and we call it yoga. It's the yogi that becomes very, very deep in cleaning. The yoga cleans the soul, the self, very deeply. And then even deeper than that, when we go into this fight against virus, against microbes, then we use very elevated, powerful thoughts. And they're not ordinary thoughts. And there are thoughts that are really tapping into the deeper part of the self. We can call it the soul. Another way, and I know I'm going a little bit over, but I'll try to go quick here. But for me, the thoughts that I need to create come from the deep part of the self that I will call sometimes the magnetic self. A self which is the purest, eternal, original self, where I'm just I, without a physical form, without a subtle form, without my name, Eric, without my role. I, the being. That being is enveloped into what I call usually the mystical self. It's the self which is like inspiring me to be a better self. And within that, there is what we call the authentic self. Yeah, I want to have a kiss on my forehead as well. Someone get a nice little hello on the forehead. So yes, nice to see. So sometimes I feel there's this magnetic self, the mystical self, the authentic self, and then there's the public self. So public self is just protecting my image. Authentic self is when I'm real with myself, honest with myself. Mystic self is when I'm trying to be better than myself. And magnetic self is when I reach my true eternal self. So these are the layers of the self, creating different type of thoughts. And if I can create thoughts that are very elevated, very powerful, like I'm a very pure soul, I'm a pure being. Yeah, I've got dust and dirt and microbes, but underneath, I'm almost divine, I'm pure, I'm authentic, I'm like an angel, I'm like a great soul, I'm a great being. These kind of thoughts are very powerful when they're really, really coming with deep feeling. This is my true eternal self. I've been rolling in the mud, covering myself with dust and contaminated with microbes. But truly, it's like if I have a cold or allergies and I'm sneezing, coughing, my eyes are crying. I know this is not the way I'm normally, this is my normal self. This is my sick self. So same with the thoughts. Real, pure, authentic thoughts will create what? A vision of a beautiful mind. This is my sacred space. And if you just come with me now, you'll feel like the meditation part of it is like entering the mind. Imagine entering the mind of the self. And imagine that your mind has been cleaned. The special fairies and special angels who came and helped you to clean your mind, just to give you a glimpse at how your mind looks like when it's clean. So you're entering these doors and you see a sacred space, a sacred space, a secret garden. And it's so beautiful. And you say to yourself, oh, I have such a beautiful mind. Such a beautiful mind. Such a great mind. Such a pure mind. Such a powerful mind. It's so rich. It's like a mine of flowers and mine of treasures. Every thought that I create becomes like a diamond. And I'm creating now diamonds. I'm creating thoughts that are so beautiful. They're making my mind so beautiful. Such a great, beautiful mind. And I can see my mind becoming such a peaceful mind. Just like a heaven in my mind. Can you feel now how peaceful the mind has become? Such a clean, peaceful mind. So clear. And now I can feel the fragrance of that secret garden becoming just like a beautiful, loveful mind. Just feel how much the mind can suddenly explode with love. I love myself. I love you. I love you all. I love the world. I love nature. I love life. I am love. This is who I really am. My mind is a mind of love. That's its true nature. If I can only keep it clean like this, that's how it will be always. Loveful mind, peaceful mind, happy mind, enlightened mind. Such a brilliant mind. Can you imagine your mind like this? It's just a question of cleaning it every day. Every day finding the happiness and joy when we keep the mind clean. And yeah, it's very difficult. There's a pandemic. Everyone I meet can contaminate me with microbes and virus. Anyone talking to me can put in my mind a poisonous mind, a poisonous thought. Every situation can damage my mind. But I have to be careful. I have to keep my mind clean. That's why every day I need to learn, read, listen, nourish my mind with knowledgeful thoughts, create pure feelings, positive feelings, and visit my secret garden, my sacred space every day to look after it. And I know for me that if I pay attention to my mind and if I make my mind my best friend, if I respect my mind every day a little bit more, and I know it's a long, long journey, and you keep cleaning it, and there's always a tsunami of mud coming from somewhere. Never lose hope or courage. And we clean it again. And one day, that's my experience today, I find that it's mostly staying clean. And every day it's only little areas that needs touch up. But after practicing, we gain the faith that I'm a soul, I'm a self, I'm a being with a beautiful mind. And I want to keep it that way. So, I don't know, I feel that was a journey through the mind. It was a meditation as well. Thank you for listening. And I've been watching those who had the camera open, and I kept checking your smile, knowing that as long as you smile, I'm okay. So I don't know if anyone of you have any question. I don't know if we have time for questions. I'm happy to, share a bit more, or just to welcome you to Montreal anytime.
Thank you, Eric. We have a few questions. First question they ask, can you remind us again about the layer of self? You mentioned it.
The layer of?
Self, or kinds of self.
The scent.
No, the self.
Oh, the self. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I heard the scent. I thought you were talking about my cologne and my perfume and the self. Yeah. So the first one is called the public self. It's your wall. It's your image. It's your clothes. It's the kind of glasses you wear, the hairstyle, your personality. How we look at the self in the eyes of the public. Thinking about what people think of me and what I think of people, public self. And if you open the public self, then you have the authentic self. The authentic self is you are you with yourself. You know who you are. And if you're honest, then you know who you are, and that's being authentic. And the aim, the yogi, the spiritual person, wants the public self to become like the authentic self. But if you open the authentic self, because the authentic self is broken, the authentic self knows I'm broken, I'm authentic, I'm not clean, this is a mess, I lost my mind, I don't know where it is. I broke my heart so many times. It's not in peace, but in pieces. Okay, I know that. I'm authentic, but I'm not going to say it in public. So there's a separation between public self and authentic self. Then if you open the authentic self, there is the mystic self. The mystic self is the one who is calling you, telling you, you can be much better. You can have a clean mind. You can be an amazing person. You can heal yourself. You can fix your heart. You can find your mind. It's your little angel, angelic or mystic self inspiring you. It's giving you inspiration. But if you open that mystic self, inside, there is the one called the magnetic self, like a magnet. The magnetic self is just energy, powerful energy. It's like your computer is running. It's wonderful. But the only thing going through your computer is energy. That energy becomes this whole world. But the essence is just energy. So deep within me, what really is there is energy. We call it life. The magic of life. It's the energy of life. And that life desperately want to come out in its purest form of love, of peace, of happiness. So it's talking to the mystic self, and it's saying to the mystic self, talk to the authentic self. But the authentic self is in conflict with the public self. So we don't know how to become that magnetic self in the mystical self, in the authentic self, and in the public self. So the aim of spirituality is that those four self become only one. And that my magnetic self, that purity, that love, that happiness, that joy, that beauty transpires and becomes my personality in what I say, what I think, and what I do. That's our objective. That's what we want. And to connect with this magnetic self, I need to clean my mind. That's it. Because if my mind is clean, it will be clear, which means it will see. It will hear the voice of the original self. But if the mind is busy and messy and muddy and sick with virus, it doesn't hear anything. And then it says, oh, I don't believe anymore. I don't believe in that. I don't know. How do you know? It doubts. So anyway, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Amazing. We have another question about the original Sufi that deals with around us. Please clarify whether they coexist with each other. About Sufi, they asking.
Suf. The Sufi, you mean?
Yeah, that deals with around us. Please clarify whether they coexist with each other.
Do you talk about like spirits around us?
About, it's not very clear, Iman, the question. Like they can live together, or really it's the translation is not clear. We'll go to another question. Can you, someone ask about the subconscious mind?
Yeah.
Where we can, or what the role of the subconscious mind?
You know, I don't know in everyone's country. Here in Canada, like most country, when you get television, you get basic number of channel. They give you only a few free, that's all this channel. But if you want to have more channel, you need to pay extra, and they call it, you need to have the cable. And then you get many more channels. But if you don't have cable, those channels exist, but you are not hearing them. You don't see them in your television. So you need to pay extra to access those invisible stations. Unconscious mind, subconscious mind is the same. You need a vision. You need a vision of the self.
Really?
And we need to go beyond the ordinariness of the mind to capture these unconscious, subconscious thoughts, if you want. So they're always there, but you need a little tool to make them visible, to make them known to the mind. And that little tool is called the awareness. In translation, it's difficult because in English, there is consciousness and awareness. In French, the words are the same, so it's confusing. Same with spirit and soul and mind. In French, it becomes the same. So the awareness, when you say, oh, I was not aware of it. Then if you were not aware of it, then you didn't pay attention. One day I was about to cross the street and I was not paying attention. I was having my earphone, listening to music. And I was right at the corner of the street. And I was not paying attention. And I almost put one foot on the street, going to cross because the red became light. The light became green. But there was a bus who came really high speed, trying to go through their red light almost. So just before I moved into the street, the bus came next to me by, I'm not exaggerating, maybe that close. And I just did like this, and whoa, the bus came at a high speed. And I thought, Mamma mia, you know, half a second difference. And I was Om Shanti, you know, I was leaving my body, and I don't know where I will be. I would lost not only my mind, I would have lost my body. And I got so scared. I thought, wow, how does this bus almost kill me? Now, every time I'm at the corner of a street, I'm very aware and I'm careful, because an unconscious thought is there. Check if there's not a bus coming. But now I can hear thoughts because I'm aware. So if I'm aware of myself as who I truly am, not as Eric, because Eric will know about television, but me as a soul, as a spirit, as a being, I know about vision. Forget television, I need vision. I just need vision of myself, vision of life, vision of what my mind is. And if I have that awareness of who I am as a self, as a being, as a soul, being of light, a spirit, not physical person, I'm a thinking being, I'm a living being, I'm a conscious being, that kind of awareness will awaken my subconscious self and will create the power of the subconscious self to create elevated thoughts. But if I'm not aware of myself as a soul, as a spirit, my subconscious self will be filled with thoughts from the body, from the reality, from negativity. And so my subconscious self will be feeding me those microbes that I don't see, I can hear. So the key to reveal the subconscious self or the subconscious mind is the awareness, being aware, paying attention. Oh, I have to pay attention. You know, if I'm, for example, you know, now my funny thing is when I go for a walk here in the neighborhood, many people know me because I'm here with the meditation center. And so if sometimes I'm in a park and I look very, you know, sad and negative, and I'm staring at somebody and people say, oh, look at this guy. He's from the meditation center. He doesn't look very happy. I'm not going to go to the meditation center. So, you know, and I'm sharing because it happened to me. One day I was really kind of a little bit grumpy, a little bit negative, a little bit sad. And I was grumpy in a park. And someone said, oh, hello, Eric. You're from meditation center. Yeah, you don't look happy today. And I thought, oh, this is not good publicity. So now when I go for a walk, I have to think, Eric, be careful. You are a living billboard for the meditation. So you have to pay attention, but I have to be authentic at the same time. So it's fascinating.
Very beautiful. Okay, we'll go fast because we have many questions.
All right.
They said, you talk about our personality influence our mind, sometimes in the way I don't want. So how can I stop that influence?
Wow, very, very good question. The person was listening carefully. Yeah, they are called habits, personality traits, tendencies. And so, for example, if you smoke, and I was smoking before when I was young, and you want to stop smoking, Your intellect says, don't smoke. But your habit is so strong that it makes you think, oh, just one last one. Or I'll smoke until Sunday night and I'll stop on Monday. You don't stop smoking on Wednesday. You stop on Monday. Stupid thought. Where does it come from? My personality trait. My grandmother, when she was younger, she was not very generous. So when we would come to see her, I think her mind was saying, let me hide all the candies. Otherwise, they will eat all the candies. Personality trait, being a little bit miser. But getting older, she became extremely generous. So when she was older, we would come to visit her and her mind will say, oh, what can I give? Where are the candies? Thought came from personality, not from the intellect, but from the personality. To change that, we need to change the personality, the habits. This is a very difficult thing to do, but not impossible. And that's what we do in meditation. So we say meditation is creating a state of mind that will last long to the point that it can change my awareness, my intellect, and it can change and become more powerful and change my habits. So who will change my habits is my intellect. Only the intellect has the power to change my habit. My habit wants to do something. My intellect has to say no. But to be powerful, the intellect needs to be eating thoughts from the mind that are very powerful. That's why we go back to the beginning, clean mind, powerful mind, create thoughts that the intellect can use to become strong. Intellect will develop will, concentration, determination, judgment, decision power, and then can transform the personality trait, in short.
Very beautiful. And we have one question. What is the difference between yoga and meditation?
Well, meditation is a little bit the public name of yoga. It's the, nice thing to advertise, meditate. And so meditate is a very gentle hook that you put in the water and you're hoping to get some fish. And when you get the fish, you tell the fish, welcome, now I'm going to tell you what yoga is. So meditation is very popular, easy way to attract people, to be honest. But the real ingredient is actually yoga. Yoga means full engagement of the mind, the intellect, and the personality traits, a full engagement of those three parts of the self in connection with the original self. But because it's a bit of complicated to explain, we just say meditation. So meditation can be of different type, very simple, bit of put a candle and say, hello, I'm peaceful. Okay. But real deep meditation is full focus of the mind, the intellect, and the personality trait engaged in connecting with my original self, which means returning to the awareness of who am I, where I come from, why am I here, where am I going? These are the very essential thoughts of humanity. But to use these thoughts and focus on it with a spiritual perspective, that gives me an experience which is much bigger than just what was on the billboard called meditation. Because now meditation people misuse that word so much. Oh, I was singing. Oh, it's like I'm meditating. I say, yeah, you can say that. Oh, I had a nice massage. I was like meditating. Not really. You were relaxing. That's not the same. Relaxation is okay. That's not the same. Yoga means connection. I'm really, really connecting. Again, I can talk for 1 hour for each question, but I'll try very hard in a few minutes.
Very clear. Thank you. Very clear. We have last question. They ask how we can get rid of anger.
Yeah. Well, it's a long process. It's not happening overnight. But, we cultivate different ingredients that will chase anger. And they're very simple. One is deep sense of inner peace, and the other one is a sense of love. But both depend on nurturing my self-respect, my self-esteem. The more I connect with myself and respect myself, the more peace and love I will be able to produce. The less I know myself and respect myself, the more I become peaceless, then I become loveless. There's no love. And if I don't have peace and love, I become angry. Anger is the result of a lack of peace and love. If you're peaceful and loving, why would you be angry? The person will make a big mistake, and you will stay peaceful, and you will give love instead of hate and anger. You would say, I know you made a mistake, but my love for you is I'm going to help you to go beyond your mistake, because there is a beyond. So the core of that is I need to respect myself. If I'm dressed with a lot of white, you are also wearing white. If you want to keep your white clean, you pay attention. You pay very, very attention to remain clean, clean mind, clean clothes. And if I'm clean, I'm careful. I do things carefully. I don't sit on the sidewalk. So if I keep my inner self focused on honoring who I am, I'm a clean self. I'm a clean being. I'm a good being. Then I don't want to be stained. So I'm careful. So I remain peaceful and I remain loveful. Then I cannot have anger. And to be very honest with you, I've been practicing for many years. It took me many years, but today, I have a few times when I can be a little bit impatient or, irritated in traffic, something. But I can't remember last time I was really angry. Honestly, cannot remember. And when I was young, my sisters will tell you, I was constantly angry. So we can really honestly, and it's a good question because I really, really, really want to say to everyone, it's possible to remove anger. And it's one big, demon to remove from the self. When you remove anger, your temperature is so much better. It's not the only one.
All your life.
Yeah.
And all your life will change. Yeah. True.
It's possible to be anger-free.
Yeah. And we have here a comment. They said, amazing session. And amazing session, so deep and insightful, with lots of lightness and smile.
Yeah, lots of smile. And today I was I didn't want to joke too much. I don't know your sense of humor in Kuwait, so I was careful. But lightness is good. If you want to be light inside, it has to be lightness also in personality. But I was watching everyone smiling, so I was enjoying. And you're smiling. You have a beautiful smile. So I love your smile. And thank you for the comment. But I'm a little parrot, I'm just passing on what I've learned. And I'm very thankful for those who have been teaching me, It's been a wonderful journey and happy to share it with you. Special greetings to my friends, French speaking. And I know there was a question in French. I may, but yes, connection with all of you from my heart and the mind. So deep yoga connection with all of you and appreciation.
Thank you very much for really valuable lecture and deep information. We learn a lot from you, and sorry for there is a few quite a question, but because of time we cannot. So and thank you for Harmony House Kuwait for arranging this lecture, and also Bahrain Meditation Center, and thank you for all the audience, and good night. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. That was my joy. I feel like my life has been always preparing ideas, like prepared a buffet, a lot of food. And today was my turn to share with you a lot of very nice food from meditation. So hope you enjoyed and hope to see you again. And welcome to Montreal. If you are hearing Montreal in the next few days, because I'm thinking of you. So welcome. All right. Soon. Greetings, everyone. Thank you.